stop recording. Here about this room. This room we're standing in is actually a milk tower. So literally where the milk was brought from the cows, it was made to yogurt, cheese, and the owner of this plantation would have decided if he would want to sell it, if he wants to use it himself. The house behind you was the house of the owner. It was built in 1693. It exists out of 850 acres of land, and his name was Casper van Eyck. You see an inventory list from the year 1760. And this list is trying to show you how he talked about the slaves, because he wrote down first the animals, the stuff in his house, in this milk house where we're standing, and then at least the slaves. He gave them names, so you see names from the planets, Jupiter, Mars, Saturnus, names from the Bibles, Matthew, Ismail, names from the week in Dutch, Friday. So what I would have thought of, he gave us names. He also wrote down the function Bomba, and the Bomba was a slave who gave out the punishment to the rest. And there was also a supervisor, the Fito, he tells the Bomba, go with your mother, go with your brother. If you try to run away, steal from the plantation, etc. Those were the houses they had. This is at the right side of the land house. And you see the houses were made from straw, the roof from coconut leaves, and the middle you see a brick house. This was the house of the supervisor, he got a brick house. He was the most trusted one. Well, he is one of the descendants that stayed here till the 1900s because there was a ground paying system till 1975 here. This is the two beaches we have down here. This is the small beach, Klein Knip. This is the big beach, Groot Knip. And back then there was a Knip fort. Before it was a big building used by the military to protect the coast. The slaves took this over, grabbed the weapons, and used it for their own revolution. This is the only wall left of it right now. It is now ruined. These years you see on the house were the years where the house was painted and renovated because it is in its original form. We have not changed anything about it. This is an old refrigerator. Here used to go fruits and vegetables in it. They put it in a big hole under the ground. They put ground over it and it stays cool under the ground. And it gets the function as a refrigerator. Yes, the house of the supervisor is still standing outside, and I'll show you it as well. And you see right down there, the house with the red roof. That is the house of the supervisor I showed you on the picture. The grandchildren want to make it into a small museum about that supervisor. And behind the house is where the plantation was. And this plantation was actually that it walked between the two mountains all the way to the beach. Yeah, there they had corn, beans, mostly fruits and vegetables, 5 water wells, 2 cisterns. Yeah. This is now the backside of the house. This was always the backside of the house. And down there you see some big buildings, and those are the storage rooms. So there they put the corn, the beans, and they stay good normally for 2 years when they put them on a certain weight. Where you guys are parked was where all the animals were, the turkeys, pigs, donkey. The horses were where you guys bought your guys' tickets, etc. Those,
What are these?
those are called here, yeah. These are water lilies.
Water lilies.
The one that keep flying, you know,
Yes.
on the...
So they're harmless.
Yeah. When it's going to rain, they come out.
Oh.
When they know there's about to become a dam because there's about to be a lot of rain. The mosquitoes also come out, so now you have to use a lot of mosquito repellent because they come more than normal.
They finally got me.
What got you just now is maybe, I don't know. This is the Gallery of Africa, so the rich people of Africa who built the first universities, libraries, the ones who came with the showering of cold and hot water. But I'll do this as last.
Hier hebben jullie de Manila-armbanden en de schelpen. Ja? De Manila-armbanden waren gebruikt door de Afrikaanse koning als de
So my colleague is busy there, but I'll give you an explanation so we can continue. The Portuguese went to Africa in 1444, grabbed the people, made them to slaves, brought them to Portugal. The Brazilians abolished slavery in 1888, last ones. In between there were French, Dutch, Spain, English, America, you name it. The Dutch had conquered Curacao. The Dutch also conquered Ghana. They had a big castle there called Fort Elmina, and that is where they took the people out of Africa. in between 18 years, they had succeeded to bring 24,000 people out of Africa to Curacao. Because Curacao was a trading hub and middle passage, so the slaves that come here never stay here. If they stay here, it's to work to feed like the government, stuff like that. And what happens is that you can see how the ships left Amsterdam, went to Ghana, and then came to Curacao. And you see that the ships would come from Haiti, Saba, St. Martin, Suriname. They would all come here by slaves. Later on, these are the names of the people who did the first revolutions in these islands and countries. Like here we have Tula, and St. Martin we have Lokai. And what used to happen is that they get put on the ships 2 months. They are sitting on the same place with chains on their necks, feet, wrists. So a lot of people also die in the traveling time to get here. What happened is that when they get here, the children also have to work from when they are 8. They work till they are 35 or 40. That is the maximum age. Yes? And then later on here, I talked already about the 2 first countries with their freedom. Well, in Venezuela, it was this man in the corner that was actually a free person. His mother was a native, his father was a slave, so he was born free. He did later on make children with a slave woman, so his children were born as slaves. And that is why he went, traveled, figured out how to fight for freedom, what to do, and made his coast free. That is called Puro in Venezuela. Simon Bolivar made the rest of Venezuela free. And this man, Jose Caridad Gonzalez, he left here when he was 9 in the trunk of a tree with his mother and rode 20 hours to that coast, to Venezuela, for his freedom. We made a movie about what he had to do, his experience he had, where he went to Venezuela. You can see this what he had to experience. You can also see here Haiti. Haiti is actually the same land as the Dominican Republic. It was called Saint Dominique. They named it Hispaniola. And split it in 2 pieces. And the French were the ones in Haiti. The French told the people that they have to fight for them. They gave them clothes, weapons, and then in the 1800s they also made them free. After making them free, they told them that they now have to pay 150 million for the clothes, shoes, ammunitions, knowing they did not have money, but they had gold, diamonds, more of the important stuff they needed. So they took all of that, saying they had a national debt. And that is why Haiti is a land of poverty, a land with no rules, etc. In this room, I show you the rest of Tula, the watcher step. And actually Tula is the slave who started the first revolution here because he knew a lot more than the rest of the people. That's what they say. Because he had the spirit of being a leader, the spirit of fighting for the freedom, and that is what he did. He fought for the freedom. It took him 2-3 months. It still did not succeed, but he did plant the seed for the rest of the people. Before Tula did his revolution, these 2 plantations, Landhuis Knip and Marie, this was where the first revolution was in 1716. Here, at Willywood, where you can visit the flamingos.
Yes.
Yeah. What happened there is that this woman, they used to say she is the leader of one of the most rebellious groups, and these groups was called the Busari, and they would go and they would attack their owners, attack plantations to stop the work. And at a certain point, the owners, to scare the people off, to keep them under pressure, burned her alive in front of the people to scare them off. And then later on, one of the men also was cut open and his heart was pulled out in front of the people. These people were working on salt plantation where they work with salt in the sun and they already have wounds, so their skin keeps on aching. They work without shoes, so they get blisters and they become black because of the big mountains of salt that when the sun hits it, makes you black. And that is why they also fought to stop the war. This is where the revolution happened in 1750, that the same group of people who were also slaves here, and this was actually the house of the governor called Fash. When these people would start a revolution, he called the military and told them to kill them or to punish them. And what these people would do is that when they are fighting and they realize we could not win this fight, they go there to the water, it was really rough, and they commit suicide. 80 men, 100 men, because they are Africans, so they believe in the reincarnation and the life after death. And it is more to show that I decide when I want to go and to not get killed with somebody else. Behind you, also a weapon was made by the slaves with old iron, with a stick to make a handle for it, and they use a stick to walk with it the whole day. They keep walking with it to make the owners used to. But later on, they all found out it was a weapon, so they made it a rule that the slaves could never walk with sticks. Yeah? And this right here, this is like 10 minutes from here. It's called Hofi Mango. It's now a mango nature park, but it was a sugarcane plantation. The only place with a sugar mill where they cut out the sugar cane, put it in the sugar mill, take out the juice, and make it to rum. Because the juice, when it ferments, it becomes rum. The owner here used to sell this rum to other owners, and his name was Willem van Utrecht. He was the cousin of the owner here. What happened is that also Tula had collected 2,000 people there to start his own revolution. And at this table, guys, on the west side, I can show you real quick the west side of the island, and the red lines is what Tula had walked to ask for his freedom. The black lines are the Dutch military fighting them for them to stop the revolution. What happened is that Tula, Basian Carpata, Luis Mercier, and 50 more slaves came here back there and told their owner, we're not working today, we're not working tomorrow, because we know the French made Haiti free. The French are going to fight against Holland, so if they win, we're supposed to be free because we're a Dutch colony. His owner told them it's not true, it's fake, but told him that he could walk from here to Punda, to the governor, and there he could ask for his freedom. But when Tula left, he came inside and wrote down, my slaves do not want to work, I do not know where my slaves are, and I do not also know what the intentions of my slaves are. And he sent this letter himself to the governor. The Dutch military came here, they did not find Tula, they killed him, saying he started a revolution without knowing. His owner said, go and walk. When he left, he sent 2 slaves to all these plantations to say, we started walking, so if you want to help to get your freedom, come to Santa Cruz. And there, when he left out of Canepa and walked to Santa Cruz, he found there 2,000 slaves waiting. He made a big swirling water with the rum they had, and they swore to stay loyal to each other, and they also said that they will fight in the name of God for their freedom. The slaves were sent to all of these forts to grab the weapons from the military, the ammunition, and bring them back to Santa Cruz. But what happened is that one slave, Luis Mercier, was sent to go with some slaves to Serrinegre, because Tula would keep on walking from Santa Cruz to Puerto Mari. Why? Because here he knew was living a Dutch woman called Johanna, and that she was against slavery, and that they could go there and spend the night there. When they got there, she told them, come inside, use my house, but I am leaving, so they do not say that I allowed you guys. And what happened is that the same night, they were actually seen by a general, because this letter was sent. And they came here to see where Tula was. They did not find Tula, they found him here, and they attacked him. They did not succeed, so they went to the commandant, and his name was Baron van Westerholt. He came with 1,000 men, horses the next morning, and weapons to attack Tula once again. Before he attacked Tula, he sent a pastor to convince them that the island is small, they don't have weapons, and they don't have food, it will run out. But Tula told him that he prefers to go with his brothers and sisters to fight than to send them back and to let them keep on being slaves. And he gave the pastor a horse to go back to the governor. What happened is that they were attacked later on. The fight did not stay here, they went to the Salt Lakes, I told you, there, and when they got there, they lost the fight. That is why there you find the white face with a broken chain. When they lost the fight, they ran to see the Neger because Luis Mercier, the Haitian slave, was standing there with the weapons and some more men. And then they were attacked again by ships who came from the city onto them. They came, men walking onto them. So they were cornered and they came to St. Christophe River. The ships also came here onto land, and that is why they came here to have like a vision on both sides. And here they went to hide and fight, and in the late evening they go and search food and water. What they did is that the military did not know this whole area, so they burned all the cornfields and thrown a dead goat in the water wells to poison it. So no food, no water, the slaves had to come out. After 2 or 3 days, they started coming out. The ones who came down without weapons got an ear cut off. The ones who came down with a weapon got killed immediately. Tula, Bashankapata, Luis Mercier, and 26 more people were sent to the city, where they were stretched out on a torturing machine, stretched out, bones were broken, heads cut off, and put on a stake at Renaissance. This whole revolution was about 2 months. It started in like August, and Tula was captured in September. And then later on, still Tula was known in Holland as a criminal. So the king of Holland changed that 3 years ago. He is not a criminal, he is a hero. They abolished slavery in 1863, so 70 years after this revolution. And the letter I told you, you can see it behind you. It is in Dutch.
Ze deden dit gewoon nog een keer om te bewijzen, als je dit gaat proberen, is het ook met zo gebeuren. Daarom zet ik nog een keer goed, omdat ze het schuldig dat ze deden zo aan die andere slaven.
The people of Guadeloupe tried to make Curaçao a hub to fight for the freedom. That is the picture you just saw. And this man, General Rigaud, he was a French general, and he was the one who spoke about doing this. That if every island does not become free, we do not stop fighting. And they tried to make Curaçao the hub where that all would have started, but it did not succeed because the Dutch gave the English the land for 2 years, and then the English even wanted to conquer it from them, and all of these problems, and then the Dutch got it back. So they wanted to undo this. The English stopped it because the Dutch gave the island to the English for 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
This is Tula.
Dus zelf gingen ze heel vaak zelf opleggen.
But it is the inspiration of the painter, because nobody knows how to live. I speak here about my language. We speak Creole. Like in Haiti, they speak French Creole. We speak Creole, but with Portuguese, African Portuguese. It is the same as the people that are like the Cape Verdean people. They speak Creole as well. And you see, it's the same as us. We speak Papiamento. It is the same as the Creole. We just named it Papiamento. It came that the slaves came from West Africa. They could not understand each other. They had to choose words, stuff that sound like each other, to put them together, put all these words, African words together. And they made a new African language. The first owners were Portuguese men, so they learned them their task, what they had to do in Portuguese, and that is what they learned together and learned the rest of the people, and they kept on speaking. We speak it without an accent, and the people that are the Cape Verdean people, they are still Portuguese, so they speak it with a Portuguese accent. Right here on these plantations, the children would work by making the corn really fine to make like a polenta later on. And while she is doing this, she is singing songs about slavery in the rhythm of her work. If her mother is working, she uses a big mortar, you see it in the corner, and she also stomps in the rhythm of the song she could use with big mortar. Yeah? And then she starts. This right here is an instrument that actually was used on the plantation with a stick in it. They take the bad weed out of the ground and they take the stick out of it, and right now we use it as an instrument where we play music on it. Yeah? We play music on these instruments now that were used on the plantations. This This is a nanny that actually only has to take care of the children of the owner. A lot of the time she tells them stories, she sings them songs, but in Papiamento, she cannot speak Dutch. It's when they're about 4 or 5 they learn Dutch from the parents. But what happens is that they still see this black woman as their own mother because she is with them the whole day, the whole year. When they're 18, they get married, they're still here taking care of the parents of the children. There was 2, Yaya that take care of the children, and Minji. Minji is a woman that comes here 3-4 times a day, gives the breast milk to the children of the owner, and she goes. Yeah. Sometimes when these children get older, they have to see how they hit maybe the Yaya, and that also gave some of them trauma. That is also what stuff that used to happen. Yeah, the pastors would get learned the Papiamento since Africa, so when they get here, they can brainwash the people into think that the Bible says they're supposed to be slaves because the Dutch wrote in the Bible. Yeah, that if you become a slave, you obey your owner, the signature will be your God. To brainwash them.